What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast. Today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Gavv episode 9. Crazy to think we're already up to 9 here in Gavv, but that's what we're going to talk about, and that's where we are. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined as always by my good friend, Toby Tobes. Toby, how you doing?
I'm the joiner friend, Toby Tobes. Pretty good, Josh.
The joiner?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just a follower.
Yeah, I'm a follower. Josh, something you shouldn't follow.
Uh-huh.
We're taking the hard stance early. If I want to tell everyone out there in the entire world, internet,
whole world.
atmosphere, space of things on the internet, absolutely nobody should watch the movie The Mousetrap, starring Steamboat Willie Mask as a killer, just to lean into the whole copyright, no more bullshit rules that have been unlocked here.
Yeah, because first there was that
Blood and Honey.
Winnie the Pooh one. Yeah, Blood and Honey was the first one of these, right?
Yeah, so like I never watched either of them. I heard the second one was better than the first. I have a internal reaction to like making Lovable Pooh a cartoon character I cried at losing his memory and going into a depression hole in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Turning him into a weird, like, creepy boar-masked serial killer.
Yeah.
The whole preface bothered me. And it's probably just like the weird reaction to like, this shouldn't be my childhood. This shouldn't be a Disney thing. Oh wait, it's not Disney anymore kind of vibe. So as all these famous trademarked things keep going, like, is they just not trademarked anymore? They're open source. What's the fancy word for it for media?
Public domain is
Thank
what
you.
you're looking for there.
Yeah. So like, as all these things go public domain, everyone's like, let's make a horror movie out of them, because that's obviously the most leverage you could pull off of this. Is like,
sure, it's the most different from the source. Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's the polar opposite of a Disney movie? Oh yeah, having the character be a serial killer.
Yeah.
And like, the Pooh ones are okay, I guess.
I saw the Pooh ones. Or I saw the first
both
one.
of them. Okay.
Just the first one. And I'm down for like a schlocky, stupid horror movie. But it was there were just inconsistencies that like showed that no one gave a complete F in this movie. Like weird things of just like, I can't remember the actual ones that were in the movie, but like in the vein of like a character is wearing a jacket and in the very next cut the jacket's off and then you cut back and it's on again. Like that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Was in this movie where it's just like, was no one watching as they were directing? Like, it's insane how bad it was on that level. The movie was also really bad and like in poor taste and like wasn't funny in the way you would want that thing to be, and it wasn't kitschy enough to make it good. It was just kind of all awful and in bad taste. But like, it was also just like fundamentally was a super poorly made movie for those reasons. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So like, those I get. Like Blood and Honey 2 was supposed to be better and added more people to the verse.
Okay.
Like, Eeyore was already dead, or Piglet was already dead, and then Tigger got to show up, and I was told that Tigger even got to make the joke, Tigger's gotta bounce, which is my favorite stupid...
It's pretty good.
Like, right, it's like my favorite dumb thing from Winnie the Pooh. Like, that's all... He's like a dumb dog. He just wants to bounce around, be goofy, whatever.
I think Tigger is secretly the scariest member of that whole troop. He's
so?
Like, yeah, he's like crazy. He's like Animal in the band, where he's just like, you don't know what he's gonna do, man. Right? Like,
I guess so. They're all too
loose cannon.
but I guess he's a loose cannon. That's fine. So it wasn't recommended to me, but the movie, it's called The Mousetrap. Like I said, I was told it was the thing, and it had scary Steamboat Willie face on it, kind of. And I was like, oh, this has to basically be like a Five Nights at Freddy's knockoff. I was like, there's no other way I can do it, or there's no other way I can go. And I was like, you know what? I don't sleep that great anyway. I need something to do in the morning. I'm going to watch this. So I went into it with the lowest hopes of like, even if it's like close to Five Nights at Freddy's, but Steamboat Willie, like, I guess it just works and it might be okay. At one point I was tracking how many times I said to myself, why the hell is this a thing? About 30 minutes into it, I literally almost turned it off and was like, "What the fuck am I doing with my time?" Because I had like such horrible visceral reactions to what is this even supposed to be?
That happened with the Blood and Honey where I got to a point I'm just like, "You know what? I'm just gonna fast forward to the kills." That's what I that's what I ended up doing, was just, like, skipping ahead 2 minutes, and I'm like, "Okay, anything interesting happening? No? Okay, I'm gonna keep going."
Yeah, so at least like Winnie the Pooh one, they're in at some point the 100 Acre Woods. It might be
Yeah.
called something stupid or like also open source, legally nondescript, but like that's the thing. So basically, the mousetrap is there's two girls that work at an arcade. Their boss is like, "There's a private party tonight. I need you two to work late. Don't you want money? Ha ha ha!" And then he goes in the back office and he just sits in a chair by himself and watches Steamboat Willie, and then he has like it looks like a melted Steamboat Willie mask, and it's like, "Ha ha ha! Now's my time!" And like,
Oh, he does the mouse voice?
no,
He does
like
he does a
the
mouse voice?
the mask talks, but it's
Oh,
not Mickey's. I mean, obviously, it's not gonna be Mickey's voice, but it's not even close to Mickey's voice. It's like the voice I just made of like just some strange person making doing the voice.
okay.
The whole movie is just him going like, "Ha ha ha!" and like horrible laughs.
Ugh.
There's nothing tied to Steamboat Willie whatsoever other than the mask, which I
Well,
think is
he
the point that bothered me the most.
you said he was watching the Steamboat Willie cartoon in his
And that
office?
was it. Like, it was literally just an excuse to play the cartoon in a movie, I think.
Ugh, yeah, sounds like it.
And then he put the mask on, and all he did was like, all he had to do was had a knife. One of the two girls has a secret birthday party at the arcade because all of her friends came to visit her. So all of her friends get trapped in the arcade and they can't get out throughout the night. And the person with the Steamboat Willie mask tries to kill him, and it's just the dumbest shit. And I think like it was the worst usage. A, it was the worst usage of the property, or like the way they could use the property. And B, it was such a horrible movie where it's literally like the worst stereotyping you can do per character, but they like turned it up to like 11.
Yeah,
And then it seems like the people didn't actually know how to like talk to each other. So it wasn't really like conversations. It was just more like talking, and then the other
yeah.
person talks.
Bad dialogue.
Yeah.
It seems like to me, from hearing about it and watching the trailer here, that this was a completely unrelated horror movie that they decided to slap Mickey on, like, during the writing and production process, probably. So I bet it was a script that was knocking around, and then they're like, "You know what can make our script get made? Freaking adding Mickey Mouse to it."
Oh, I forgot.
But
So the worst part of all of it. So literally 5 seconds into the film, I was taking notes at first. 'Cause that's what I like to do, and I wrote down like, I don't even want to watch this already. They did a Star Wars scroll explaining who Mickey Mouse was in Disney World, and they were like, but this isn't a scroll like that one space movie did, because that would be illegal. And
Christ.
this isn't really tied to Disney because that would also be illegal. And they're like, ha ha ha. And by the way, we tried to reach out to Disney and they didn't want to talk to us. And it scrolls more. And it's like, no, seriously, Disney didn't return any of our emails. It scrolls more. Hey Disney, we really love you. We wish you would have got back to us. You know, we're super fans, blah blah blah. And they did a Star Wars scroll of like 2 minutes of them like basically doing commentary of Disney wouldn't talk to us about this in like a not funny way.
Gross. Yeah, that seems awful.
And then starting from there, it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous and terrible. Uh, yeah, so the whole, like, Mickey Mouse in Steamboat Willie is public domain thing, it's weird in and of itself, right? Because if you are using, it's not like Winnie the Pooh going public domain where it's just like, "Cool, I get to do Winnie the Pooh in whatever way I want." Here, it's like they probably had the probably reason they're playing the actual Steamboat Willie film is because they needed that to justify that their mask is Steamboat Willie and not just a Mickey Mouse mask. Like, that's probably the only way, like, their lawyers figured out that they could actually justify this if they went way out of the way to say, "No, no, no, it's Steamboat Willie." It's not.
And now that you mention that, I guess that's fair. That is probably like the best way to make it.
But it's stupid. It doesn't excuse what they're doing, but, like, that's probably why it's made the way that it is. Um, but it's dumb and terrible. And even the mask that I'm looking at, like, they clearly, like, it looks like Mickey in the general shape, but like I don't know, it almost feels like they made it distinct enough that like if they really needed to, maybe they could argue like, oh, it's not Mickey Mouse, right? Right? Like it's I don't know.
It almost looks like a Goofy mask repainted as a Mickey
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it
mask.
does. Yeah. How stupid. This is all dumb and I hate it. Their tagline apparently is this is not the fun house
Yeah.
because it
I,
it's like Mickey's. Yeah.
oh yeah, okay, yeah. I guess that's funny.
Also
Ah,
the original title was Mickey's Mousetrap, but apparently they dropped the Mickey's because again, scared of Disney. Scared of the
and
big mouse.
as they should be. It should have been Steamboat Willie's Mousetrap. They should have went on a fucking steamboat. Like like rented your friend's boat for an hour, fucked around on it, made a movie, and just called it like Steamboat Willie's Big Ride or some horse shit.
Oh man. So here's everything you need to know about the movie right now.
It
I was
cost
talking
$15
about
to make.
probably. So apparently the mask actually was a vintage 1960s Mickey Mouse mask painted black and white. So apparently like the shape was of an old original Mickey Mouse shape is what this says. But I was talking about how poorly made Blood and Honey was. In this, one of the trivia on IMDb is Alex states her surprise birthday party is 2 weeks before her actual 21st birthday. But 10 minutes later, she says, why don't we go to a real bar so I can have my first legal drink?
She did do that. I fucking didn't even think about that. It's true.
Oh, man. What awful, awful things.
This movie apparently cost almost $1 million to make, and I
That
don't
is
know
a
where that money
mistake.
went, but people deserve refunds or however
Retribution,
that.
please.
Yeah,
It has a 2.5 on IMDb out of 10 currently.
20% Rotten Tomatoes. All the reviews are horrible. Like, if it was any sort of like, there's bad horror that I like that's stupid and horrible and shitty, and this is just stupid and horrible and shitty, and there's no I truly think there's no redeeming qualities about this movie.
It doesn't have that heart that like bad movies that are fun have. you know? Like it's just like it's just the blatant cash grab and they're hoping that you're stupid enough to not realize it's a bad movie.
Some person on Rotten Tomatoes said this movie could have been made better in middle school theater class.
Nice.
So that's what we're looking for here.
Pretty damning. That's crazy. I'm sorry you had to watch a bad movie, Toby. I I maybe have something to make it up for you with. I have a new segment that I want to add to our podcast. This is
Okay.
where I'll solicit names for what this segment should be called, but basically this is where I give Toby a BuzzFeed quiz and we see how it goes. This is actually a poll, not a quiz, but we can see how you stack up against the general the general population. Okay.
Hit me. Let's do it.
All right. So the quiz here is let's play hot or not, but with weird people and things I've been attracted to. So it's just gonna maybe get weirder as it goes. So the first one,
Wait,
hot.
so much am I trying to match an answer? Or am I just
y-
saying if it's hot or not?
you are. I want you to speak your truth, and I'm going to tell you how you line up with the general like populace that takes this quiz. So I have the percentages of what the people like everyone who's taken it has voted. It's just a poll, right? And I'll tell you that if you match with the majority or if you don't.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna end up on the wrong side of history because almost all my choices I'm basically almost always wrong. So I'm gonna
We'll
say
see.
that any choice I make is gonna be the least chosen one, but well, I won't do it on purpose.
All
I'll give
right.
my I'll
We'll
give
see how
my
it goes.
answers.
And feel free to talk out the answer if you want. We can talk through these are some interesting choices. First up, hot or not, teenage Simba.
I,
When he's got like the scruffy fur a little bit. He's not quite fully grown yet. Doesn't have the full mane.
I feel
He
like
just
teenage
he,
Simba at
he
my
just
age
can't
is
wait to be
illegal,
king.
so I'm gonna say not.
Good answer. Good answer. Not is actually the majority of the votes, so you
Thank
are
God.
with the population. Number two, Pete Davidson with veneers. That's actually kind of a little mean. It's just a person.
Well, so another movie I watched was Bodies, Bodies, Bodies,
Yeah,
and he was in that, and that was my first ever experience watching him act. And I know he was very drunk and needed to go to rehab for a long time and get his mental health straight.
sure.
And I saw a
Yep.
picture of him the other day where he removed most of his tattoos and looks very clean and healthy now. So if he has veneers and that's why he smiles very nicely, I'm gonna say hot.
All right.
Pete
You know what? I'm
Davidson
with
seems
you.
like a good kid. I think
Yeah.
he gets memed on because he married, dated something like Kardashian, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's fucking stupid. He's not funny or handsome." And I'm not funny or handsome either. But you know what? I love me, so I love him too. Hot.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I thought it was actually reversed, where she was out of his league in that, because he's funny, and I think he's okay looking. Like, I'm fine,
Yeah,
but
there's nothing wrong with him.
he's very funny, and he's just a regular looking human being. So like, I think I value the humor way more. Anyway, so we both agree hot. The general populace 66% says not for Pete
See,
Davidson,
he
which is
gets fucking
crazy.
he gets dunked on left and right.
Justice for Pete Davidson is what we say on
Let's
this
do it.
podcast. Sheila
JFK.
from the girls' room on the Amanda Show. I don't know what the Amanda Show is. Do
All
you
right,
know?
hold it. Sheila from the girls' room.
On the
Show.
Amanda Show. If it takes you to BuzzFeed, don't click the link.
I think it's some girl from.
I'm gonna say not hot since we don't know her. We'll move on.
I'm gonna say not because I have no idea, and we're not gonna. Even
Yeah,
googling this is not helping me. So
no, we won't dwell. Uh, we got the correct answer though. Next one, Gil from Finding Nemo. Gil's kind of the angry one. He's like black and white and yellow.
is that the one that's played by Willem Dafoe?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Then I'm gonna say hot because he's a goofy looking motherfucker. So we're gonna say with his bad attitude and sassy shark bait, ooh-ha-ha.
Yeah,
we're gonna give him a hot.
there's something there. Unfortunately, the people disagree, and 65% said not hot for Gil.
There's a huge GIF on Gifly meme thing where people used to put Willem Dafoe's face on Kingdom Hearts characters, and it's extremely off-putting. And I almost want to give him a not for ruining that, but I'll give him a hot. We'll roll
Okay.
with it.
Next up, hot or not, the smell of gasoline.
It's pretty good.
You like it?
I wouldn't just put my face in a gas tank, but sometimes when the gas vapors when it hits you, you're like, ah, gas. This smells nice.
You catch some secondhand, you're into it. Let me tell you, this is exactly 50-50
Ooh,
on
that's a good
hot or
one.
not. Next up, hot or not, closely followed by the smell and consistency of rubber cement. The smell and consistency of rubber cement.
I feel like any good deranged kid / teenager used to try to like rubber cement their fingers together, or at least
Sure.
like sniff the glue and then roll it into like sticky balls. So we're gonna say hot.
Yeah, I think if fixation counts, I think then that's good. 82% said not on rubber cement. I think there might be
They're just lying.
some. Yeah, exactly. Just lying.
They
Uh,
those kids are probably the ones that ate freaking paste.
yes, definitely. Next up, hot or not, Thomas O'Malley, who is the alley cat from the Aristocats.
He probably sings. I'll give him credit.
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't seen the Aristocats for a while. I think there's a Toby in that movie.
Oh, Toby from the Aristocats, hot or not? You want to do a little side
Wait,
answer? Also hot?
yeah, why not?
Yeah. 63% said no for Thomas, which I disagree. He's kind of hot.
Toby was
Uh,
in The Great Mouse Detective. I had to think about it for a second.
oh, okay. Next up, Miles Teller with a mustache. I will send you a link so you know what Miles Teller looks like. Nope, that's one coming up. My copy and paste did not work correctly. Ignore the thing I just sent you right there. Uh, there we
I
go.
don't know that name either.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then we're good. Here we go. That's Miles Teller with a mustache. Hot or not?
No, that's not really a mustache. That needs to grow in a little bit more.
You know what? I agree, and so did the people. 75% said not hot. Cleo, the sexy fish from Pinocchio. Are you familiar with Pinocchio and Cleo? Here's
Yeah, that's
an
weird.
image if you need some help. You say
No.
no on Cleo. Okay.
Wait. Why is she an over sexualized goldfish?
Cuz she's like got
She has
like
like
lipstick on and stuff, you know?
she has Betty Boop eyes.
She's ready to go. Listen, I won't explain further, but she's ready to go.
Why is this survey leaning very animal heavy?
I don't know, we'll figure it out as we go. Hot or not, Bill Nye the science guy.
Yeah,
He's incredibly hot, right?
he's a smart stud scientist.
Christ, who the people that are taking this quiz are nightmare people. 82% said Bill Nye was not hot. That's insane.
Who even goes on BuzzFeed anymore?
I don't know. We are number 11.
How
Hot
many
or
are
not?
there?
Like 20 some. Number 11, but I'm going to skip a couple because you don't know what they are. Number 11, the Iron Giant from the Iron Giant. Hot or not?
Sure. He's sleek, smooth, muscular, can do
Yeah, he's
stuff.
strong. I think I say yes because strength. 92% said not, which is crazy. Um, how about hot or not? Shorts with words on the butt. Like juicy things like that.
Uh,
Justice. Those little booty shorts where they put words on the butt. Hot or not?
I guess it depends on the butt.
I'm gonna go hot. I think that counts as a hot. 78% said not, which is crazy. Hot or not, Toby, these squishy tube things you could basically only buy at aquariums. They are the things that are like long and cylindrical and had water in them, and you could kind of like shake them up and down. Are you familiar with these?
Yeah, I feel like they were flashlights before flashlights were a thing.
You get it. You get it. So is that hot or is that not?
I'm gonna say not. There's not a lot
Okay.
of.
I feel like anything that has primarily been used for putting like underage penises in is a not. Yeah. The world agrees with us on that one. How about Sully from Monsters Inc? Hot or not?
Yeah, he'll protect you. You can cuddle up in his fur
I agree.
as long as he's not mad. He gets scary when he's mad.
He's like the Iron
He'll call
Giant
you
for me.
boo. He'll call you boo.
Oh, that's true. That's true. 82% said not. That hurts me deep in my soul.
This feels like a very non-internety quiz because I feel like all the animal sexuality would be higher if this was a true internet quiz.
Agreed. All right, we're getting close to the end here. We did Sully from Monsters Inc. Next up, hot or not, Sully Sullenberg, the American pilot who landed his
No,
plane. No for Sully. Okay, Sully is not hot. Says 93% of answers.
he's just doing his job, man. You don't get bonus credit for that.
I agree. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Hot or not, electric pencil sharpeners.
I'll say hot. If
What?
you use them too much, they overheat.
Okay, I was gonna say, please show your work. 75% said not hot for electric pencil sharpeners. Next up, I don't know. We're gonna skip that one. I don't know what it is. Next up, sand dunes. Hot or not?
They're definitely hot. Well, it depends on the time of day. I'll assume it's like
Ooh,
nice. It's a nice beach. So I'm gonna say very hot.
yeah. The photo I was looking at was during the day. If that helps. 67% of people said not hot for sand dunes, which is wrong.
This is the
Uh,
weirdest quiz you've ever given me.
I
Like
agree.
people write us weird quizzes for us to do, and this one is like surpassing all of them, but not on purpose. I feel like.
What about hot or not? Oddly specific medical role play ASMR videos. The one in question that I'm looking at here is called the cranial nerve exam ASMR.
No, I want to see anyone's brain.
Yeah, I don't want to see any ASMR personally. 88% said not hot. And Toby, the last one, hot or not, the moon.
It's very cold up there, so no.
Okay. I
We're
think
going
there's a
purely
man in it.
scientific. This is very science. It's also made of cheese.
That's true.
It might
That
be
was a
hollow.
pretty divisive one. 56% say the moon is hot.
These
Toby,
are people
thanks for
that
playing
failed
along.
science class.
It's not necessarily about temperature, Toby. Do I need to teach you what hot means now?
No,
After we've done this 20 times? Okay.
no, this is sus.
All right. Well, thanks everyone.
No, not thanks, everyone. This is your fault, and this is your
Well,
horrible
thanks
thing.
for bringing this to the podcast, everybody. This is definitely not my doing. Come up with a segment name for our awesome new segment that
Tell
just
Josh that
debuted
that we're
today.
never going to do this again. I'm never taking another BuzzFeed quiz as long as I can help it.
It's great. That was fun. Everyone enjoyed it. Let's talk, Toby, about Common Writer Gavv. Let's make that hard transition over to the show that we're supposed to be talking about. Toby, this week on Common Writer Gavv.
I am Toby, Josh. Did you know that?
Yeah, did I not? Did I say your name wrong?
No, you didn't. I'm just letting you know that I'm Toby. I'm the Toby of the comment writers, and we're going to get into the show.
Okay. I might. Okay. Well, this week on the show, Toby of the Comment Writers,
It
it's
was
Halloween.
Halloween.
Which going in when I realized that it was Halloween and realized how that played into the theme of this year's show, I was like, this is perfect. I love everything that's gonna happen here. Please, yes, inject this into my veins.
It literally couldn't have lined up any better. Like, I feel like like the seasons always get all the holidays, right? I think we've established like they're on for all the holidays, whether they
Yeah,
enable it as a holiday episode or not. I guess
exactly.
It's a toss up. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't think each season I don't think a lot of seasons really highlight Halloween super heavily, but, like, obviously it made a lot of sense to do it here. The interesting thing I found about, like, Japanese Halloween is, like, they kinda do it all in English. Like, they say "Happy Halloween" in English, they say "Trick or treat" in English. It really shows, like, how much of, like, really an American holiday that's been adopted. It truly is.
Well, it's funny because it's thing I always think about is, 'cause obviously, because we're reading the subtitles and stuff, I always have to do, like, a quick mental scan of, "Wait, did they say the actual English too? Or am I just, like, somehow hearing Happy Halloween in my head just because 'cause I'm reading the words," or whatever along
No.
those lines?
Yeah, in this case, they're actually saying it. Usually you could pick out, like, one word where they just say one word in English or whatever, but this one it was like, yeah, the full Happy Halloween, the full trick or treat is in English, I think, each time we hear it. Shoma's dressed up like a pumpkin, and I think my favorite part was him going trick or treating and just like at one point he like corners a guy who's like running a store and he's like trick or treat and the guy's like ah ha ha that's funny and he's like trick or treat and then the guy's like searching his pockets for candy and Shoma's like trick or treat like what come on.
Yeah, his Halloween costume arc is one of the best, like, pure alien moments for him so far,
Yeah.
because it was basically, like, him and Chica dressed up to give out candy for everyone else, and then his realization of, like, "Holy shit, there's a whole holiday where you just get handed candy?
Yeah.
That's my favorite food." And then they give out their candy, and Chica's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get more." And she turns around and he's gone, and she's like, "Where are you?" And we see he left. Like, they don't see that he left right away, but he disappears because he decides he needs to go trick or treating now because he's like, "Holy shit, people just give me candy." But he doesn't really go to, like, house door to doors like you said. He just goes to, like, businesses. He just goes up to random people that he finds that are adults, and he's like, "Candy, please," with his little Halloween costume and his basket. It
Yeah.
was
Well, I
adorable.
think first he sees like other kids trick or treating, so he like gets in line. Like we see that I think at one point, and the woman's like, "Oh, you too, huh? Oh, okay." And then yeah, he's like going up to businesses and stuff. It's great. He ends up with a decent basket of candy. He's having a good time, but then Toby, it gets stolen from him. he he
The
he
worst thing that could happen to him of all things is all of his hard
exactly.
work is invalidated.
He gets lured into the most cartoon trap a common writer has ever been caught in. His candy was stolen, and he chased them into a locked room, whereupon a fight was waiting. Really, really good. Oh,
Well, at least he did get to try some of it beforehand, because that
yeah,
was a crucial part to the mission later. But his excitement of, I guess we said we're just gonna start doing, like, arcs at a time. So his excitement of he got, like, a giant peppermint lollipop,
yeah,
and he was like, he had, like, the crazy, like, there was a Simpsons joke about it, and it's from, I think, Clockwork Orange. When you see, like, a person's pupils dilate real big and you see their brain, like, start, like, all the synapses are firing,
uh-huh.
like, he licks the peppermint stick, and he's like, his eyes effectively, like, his pupils max out, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" And then, like, he warps into his stomach or his special brain place, and he's like, "Wow, I'm boxing this candy cane, and it's so hard and tough. Oh my god, this is amazing." So at least he got to have his candy cane first because that was crucial later.
He did. He also had a moment where he's like, this is a really funny scene where he's like laying on the bench and he's like, "Well, I guess Halloween's over." Like he's like super depressed because he's like done getting candy.
Oh yeah,
Great.
his depression of, like, it's probably worse than, like, how most kids would be for Christmas or your
Yeah.
birthday, where you're like, "Fuck, this doesn't happen again until next year. Ah, it sucks." But, like, his free candy day,
Yeah.
he found out about it too late, and then it was too short.
It's definitely his Christmas. And yeah, he gets to try those candies out, which were very funny scenes, him boxing the peppermint, like him being so overjoyed with it. Um the gochizos that pop out are heavy because the candy's like heavy and dense. And then he gets to use them in the fight. So the fight that he gets into to follow his arc through here, he his sisters, the twins, lure him into a trap, and they have a secret weapon from the elf that they got, which are basically these like heat cannons, these heat rays that melt his like armor off of his suit. They melt the marshmallows, they melt his gummies and stuff, and he can't like stay armored up because of these heat waves. So then of course he has to henshin into the hardest mecha suit I guess that we have that's made out of the lollipop candy.
The only part I
So
would correct is they melted the chocolate and they toasted the marshmallows.
that's true. That's true. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, when they melted the chocolate, it was awesome because he henshins into like the poncho chocolate cowboy looking thing, right? And he just starts dripping, like his
Yeah.
back just it gets hit first, and
And he's like, wow,
it's
this is I'm melting.
yeah. I love that you can just melt him. That's just a great counter. And of course the crazy giant lollipop um reminded me of Xaid, like the some of the Xaid forms where they get into like the early like giant versions of themselves and stuff is really good. It was like that vibe basically.
His new costume.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I put down it was basically like Hulkbuster, but in Common Rider
Oh
form.
yeah. Totally. Yeah. And then he even busts out the Gatling gun basically to finish off the fight. So yeah, this is a ridiculous form. Obviously I don't think it looks like super cool, but it's funny.
It's
So
funny, like it's cool that like when he was shooting the Gatling gun and I guess what call it got kills or reloaded or something, it like shoots sprinkles out, which I just thought was funny, like a nice little like another candy touch. But
yeah,
this
definitely.
suit in general feels like it can't be an all the time suit
No.
because it is like he says it's heavy, like he walks like a big clunky like I don't know, like he walks like a rhino. He just like lumbers and stomps around. So I feel like this can't be a flashy all the time thing. It's probably like a one off here and there just to do it.
Yeah, I think we'll see it a few more times, but yeah, probably not every week. It was a cool effect when he like first kind of stomped out after he henshin and he's like breaking the ground as he does it. Like that was actually pretty cool looking. Um but yeah, it doesn't really give him the like movement that we'd want to have for, future episodes for sure. And then of course, to touch on kind of we talked about the sisters there had trapped him here. They trapped him because they are kind of in hot water themselves. So they had promised the kind of head of the stomach family, their brother, basically they had 10 days to get rid of Gavv and also to then bring in a bunch of like the pressed human candy too. So they really kind of like put their neck out that they were going to handle Gavv and deliver a whole bunch of product and kind of make up for all their mistakes. And of course, they don't get that done here in this episode. They
As
get beaten
always.
once again. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how far that they can continue to fall without just being like kicked out of the family entirely. Because so far things aren't going great for them.
I feel like this was their secret chance to save themselves and not get in trouble for all the things they keep fucking up and like losing the drugs and all that.
Yeah,
So I think at this point, the next episode or two here, I feel like they're definitely the first to get kicked off Survivor, and I feel like that's gonna be like the next episode or two at this point.
yeah.
Like
I
I feel
think it.
like like it's not like the Hashilians, like the Team Rocket ones and Boom Boomger. That's hard to say for real. It's not like them where they're supposed to be slapsticky and like, oh, how are they fucking up this week? Like these two are supposed to be like respectable sources of drugs and drug paraphernalia for the family. They're obviously not following through. They keep losing the Gavv, so no good can come out of this for them.
Yeah, it's like this is an organization and a family that demands results, and they just like straight up aren't producing. So something's gonna have to come of that for sure. And then Toby, the other big thread for this whole episode is Hanto befriending slash stalking a young girl. We talked about early on in this show, we joked that like this is clearly set in a world where like stranger danger doesn't really exist in the same way. Like the fact that like
it doesn't, and yet he managed to cross
he did.
the farther line in the new world where I mean effectively if we roll it back a half step, he's basically chasing a child going, hey, do you have any candy? Do you want candy? So
Yeah.
he was effectively doing the one thing that people always say like this is the one thing that scary people will do to try to kidnap you.
And he's so creepy in this girl. So he like he over they're dancing, these two girls, and he's just kind of watching, which first of all, very creepy. And then he
They're gonna be the next
overhears,
best idol group, man. Come on now.
yeah, they're ready. He overhears them talking about basically a monster in a tunnel and how a girl has disappeared. So then he wants to know about the monster. So then that's when he starts following. And one girl literally pulls her stranger danger alarm on her backpack because he's following her.
See, I thought that part was amazing. Like the fact, like not only did they, I guess we'll call it leaned into it, but the fact that she was like, "I'm calling the cops. Everyone's
Yeah.
gonna hear that you're chasing after me, you freaking weirdo."
But he ends up making friends with one of the girls after following her for a while and telling her that he's not, he's not looking for the monsters. He's not a fan of the monsters. He hates them. That wins her over, and he talks to her about the monster, and then he ends up going to see her dance at her dance class,
Yeah, like
which
out of
again,
nowhere, it became like a weird like parental situation where he went to hang out there at dance. He told her she was killing it, and at one point, I thought one of their conversations was funny. Like last season, we had Spanner and the little nerd girl. I
yeah,
guess we'll call her. Where like they were kind of like enabling each other, but she thought Spanner was badass. So Spanner was like, "Yeah, kid, you're awesome. You're doing it. You got this." Blah blah blah. So it's just funny that the girl was like, "Everyone's just better than I am, and I really just want to quit. This is horrible." And Vesti was like, "Oh, you can just find a new dream. That's always a plan." And she gets so mad, and she's like, "No, but I want this one." I just thought it was
yeah,
amazing that like he completely misread the situation where he was trying to be supportive, but that was obviously not what you wanted to hear.
yeah. And she's like, I want to do this one. I want to be the best, and he was like, all right, that's what you'll do. Then he like tries to recover. He goes to watch her dance, and I'm like, all right, this is maybe too far, bro. And then when he sets a date with her to meet her in the park again the next day, I'm like, okay, come on.
You guys are hanging out way too much.
I get that they were trying to do the same thing of just the like parental thing or like, big brother thing, but it worked well with me with Spanner and then the nerd girl, because Spanner does have that air of like being older and like being an authority figure, and like Hanto doesn't have that for me. So he just has like the creepy stalker vibes more than more than anything.
One of
Um
the other parts that I thought was like tied to this chunk of it was like towards the end before he finds the mouth monster who's set up or the person they blame for it first. I thought was ridiculous. But like there was just this random like 4-year-old boy just standing at the tunnel eating candy by himself, and then the monster tried to eat him. And there's so much poor parenting in this show, like
yeah.
everywhere all around. Like even kids are usually smart. Where if you told a kid, "Hey, there's a monster by this tunnel," like a good chunk of kids won't go because they'll believe you. Like it's not like it was a, "Hey, there's treasure down by here. Go look," and like kids would go down. They're like, "If you go near the tunnel, you will just disappear," and all the kids know this.
Yeah,
And
it's
this
just gonna
kid's like,
happen.
"I'm gonna have this delicious little biscuit down here by under the tunnel. There's a red balloon floating around. I lost my boat." Kind of vibe. Dumb kids.
Yeah, you'd think the kids would be smarter. Like this is up getting passed around. You think the kids would not know not to do this. I do think there is a bit of like a culture in Japan, and I think it's maybe more in the more rural cities, but like parents do let their kids out to go run errands and stuff at like a super young age. I watched a video one time of like it was like a little mini documentary about that exact thing, and it was a little bit further out in the country. So like the kid was probably, I think 5, maybe? Maybe less, actually, might have been, like, in the 3 to 4 range, and the mom gave him, like, 100 yen or something, like, he gave him, like, a bill and sent him to the local 7-Eleven with, like, a list of 2 items to buy or whatever, as this little kid's just, like, wandering in and, like, looking up at the counter, like, all the way up, being like, yeah, can I get these things?" And then he, like, wanders home, like so he's, like, way too young to be out, but he's, like, walking on the side of the road and being safe, and, like, I think there's, like, some element in Japan of, like, everyone works together to take care of the kids that they see out, some too. But it really doesn't explain then why is the kid at the monster tunnel. That doesn't really line up. But I think kids being out alone is a bit more of a Japan thing than it is a here thing.
I mean, to be fair, like I miss those days. Like what how I felt me growing up was, and the outsideness that I was allowed to do,
Uh-huh.
versus how I feel like I would have to treat a child if I had one now. Like I would rather go stand by the tunnel. I just don't think that's.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a safe future here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
The
Uh,
other good uh, Hanto Arky thing was, so it was assumed that the idol class teacher who
yeah.
had a weird waistband on was going to be the the monster because he had a little tummy belt and he was kind of creeping around after our littlest idol. So eventually, when he gets caught, he's like, Hanto grabs his belt and he's like, "No, I have a stomach ache." And then like his stomach starts rumbling as loud as possible, and he starts grabbing his butt like he's pooping.
Yep. He
And
had, like, heating
in my
packs on. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what
in
was
my
the
baby
thing.
brain, I was like, "This is fucking amazing. That he's gonna poop his pants." I just want to throw it out there.
I'm not like I'm sure that's not the first time farting has happened in Kamen Rider, but it was extensive. Like it was aggressive fart noises that were happening
It
on
was
the show.
aggressive and the grumbles, and he really
Yeah.
could have pooped himself before he got away. Who can say?
Yeah, it sounded like he pooped himself. It was a lot. And as he I love the idea that like he didn't just go use the bathroom. Like his solution is like I have these heating pads and like I'm gonna go stake out this tunnel because I'm worried about these kids. Like no, just you should just go use the bathroom, man, before you poop your pants. You know,
But see, like, but that goes back to what you said about how you're supposed to watch out for kids. Like, he was actually doing
he was doing the
he was
thing.
doing the
Yeah,
right thing. He was like, my stomach hurts so bad, I'm gonna leave a trail behind me. But this poor little girl is walking by herself next to the scary bridge or a scary tunnel, or whatever. And he's like, I'm not gonna let her go alone. I got this.
he really is the unsung hero of this episode because you know he he meets his horrible farty pants pooping end, but he was just trying to protect his kids. You know, he was just trying to do the right thing against all odds. He was trying to do the right thing. And he can't turn into a big chocolate guy like Valen can.
Yeah.
He's just a teacher. He's just the everyman.
Was there ever a common rider, like actual common rider, whoever had stomach issues, and he's like, I'm gonna poop in the suit. What am I supposed to do? Because that'd be pretty funny. I'd
Not
be
that I
here
can
for
think
that.
of, but if anyone else can think of anything, I'd love to hear if anyone can think of anything like that happening. We do find out, as you said, it's not the teacher, but we do find out it's the cafe owner. There's a cafe in town that's handing out snacks to the kids, and then for some reason, then eating them after they wander down to the old tunnel. When Valen figures this out, when Hanto figures this out, he goes back to the cafe, and it has disappeared. The entire building is now missing,
It's a magic
which is
building.
crazy. What's that?
I said it's a magic building.
It is a magic building. And then Toby, the episode ends with the girl, Hanto's new friend, deciding that she will have a snack. Actually, she starts to eat it, and there's a tongue that starts to wrap around her. Very gross looking tongue, like very. It hangs in the air for a bit. It's just a level of gross that I didn't need to see. And yeah, she's about to get turned into wonderful granite snack. We'll see if that happens next episode.
I hope not, because now she found her gotcha, and now
She
they're
did.
just gonna take everything away from her. The one thing I was trying to figure out with the kids that were so under the assumption that the dance teacher was the enemy for the week, which he wasn't. In my mind, something with that restaurant guy or the baker or whatever handing out the treats, in my mind I was like, are all the kids that are eating the biscuit things, are they all the good dancers because they're eating these snacks, and it's going to be some other tie to the snacks, and that's why when she says, I can't eat junk food, I'll never be the best if I eat too many sweets, I was like, maybe that's why she's missing out, because she's not eating the snacks. But
Oh yeah.
it really had nothing to do with
Yeah, it
it
doesn't it
in
didn't
that
tie in that
direction.
much. Yeah. It was not that deep, unfortunately. It was just, "Hey, there's also snacks here, and it's Halloween," so then that loops the snacks in even further. Um, Yeah, so that's the episode. So how did you feel about Halloween in Kamen Rider Land?
Overall, I think it was pretty good. Like, it was a little bit less plot drivey than the other ones,
Yeah.
but I feel like more times than not, when it's a barring X-Aids, pop Here Comes Poppy Claus or Poppy Bells slash the worst murder I've ever seen in a kid show. Like, barring that, I feel like most of their seasonal things are more like out of the canon and just like kind of in the universe for a week. And this episode really just felt like this was just more of a thing. Like, it was just more like, let's have a Halloween episode than
Yeah.
let's drive the plot a little farther. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It was still good. It was funny. We did progress with the twins getting into more trouble, and we have another new form. Don't know how much we'll see it, but we still got to see a new one, which is fun.
Yeah.
But overall, it's pretty good. Like, other ones were definitely better than this, but I don't think this was bad.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I liked some of the individual things that happened in this plot thread, but I thought that the Honto plot dragged a little bit at points. Like there were just some things and some lengthy conversations that I felt like just didn't need to happen to that degree to get me to the point where we ended up. And I was sad at the lack of Sachika in this episode. I like her a lot. We didn't get enough of her. I thought
She
she
was
could play
basically a
off.
pumpkin witch. I mean,
Yeah,
we got to
exactly.
see her a little bit, and then she just disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was fun. I like the looping in Halloween stuff and Shoma during Halloween. It's absolutely super fantastic. Loved it. Joey, you know what else I love?
I am
Patreon.
I am Toby, and I love Patreon too.
We have a Patreon, which is why I love it because we get to share it with you. Patreon.com/slash the comment writers is where you can find that. For just $3 a month, you get access to all of our bonus content that we put out, which usually come in the form of what we call watch and reacts, basically Mystery Science Theater 3000, but for tokusatsu. So you can watch along with us and watch Kamen Rider O's currently and Boon Boomjer, Bakawage Sentai Boon Boomjer, and it's super fun. Yeah, so we put those out every week. You can sign up now and watch all of our past episodes. Way over 100 pieces of content at this point. So great value. Patreon.com/slash the comment writers to find that. One other thing you get if you sign up for the Patreon is you get access to our Discord. And one of the things you can do in the Discord is, talk with us all week long if you want. You can also post questions in the episode questions chat. So, Toby, we have a question this week that comes in from Kieran in the Discord. He asks, I got asked this question the other day, so I thought I'd pass it on to you. A vampire can't enter your house without an invite. If the vampire was a police officer and had a warrant to search your house, would they be able to enter or would you still need to invite them in? Well, I
So,
think first up, Kieran, they're going to shoot your dog. That's like number one. They get there, into the house, not in the house. Step one, dog's dead. Uh, Past that, I think I think the cop negates the vampire in this case. I think the search warrant allows them to go in, but maybe they can't do the vampire stuff. You know what I mean? So like they can't stick around and like suck your blood, but they can do their normal search warrant job. I think that's how it works.
see, I have apparently there's a right answer to this. I didn't look it up. I was just told there's an actual answer to this.
How is there a
So,
right answer?
I
It's
don't
all made
know.
up.
I don't know. But I had the exact opposite take, because if they didn't have a search warrant, they would say, "Can I look in your vehicle? Can I come look in your house?" without the search warrant. But if they have a search warrant, that means they're allowed to just come in. So I feel like he would knock on the door. He'd be like, "Hey, I have a search warrant," and then you could just stare at him. And I feel like he couldn't walk in, and he'd just be like, "Look, a search warrant," and you just look at him. Or if it's not like, "Hey, I have a search warrant, I'm coming in your house," and you don't respond to that, like, I feel like he could say whatever he wanted to with the search warrant, but he would not be able to come in the house unless you let him in. And in my mind, there's at least two or three cops there, so I imagine the other cop or two coming into your house without them. But the vampire one's just stuck outside, and then his coworkers start giving him a hard time because he can't come in the house.
I guess it's fair, yeah, because he's still entering the house, I guess. Well, I guess that's maybe my vampire question. Is it only houses? Can a vampire only they can't go in someone's house, someone else's house unless they're invited in. Is it that doesn't apply to like stores and stuff? I would assume,
I don't know. I guess wherever
or
I don't know
like
if
the
it's
the
like
police station.
I own this property. You need to come on, you have to need to ask me about my property.
Dude, someone needs to write someone needs to write the short story or something, or like the movie where there's a vampire cop and this rule applies, so he's not allowed to enter for search warrants unless he's invited in. But he also like he figures out when people are squatting at an abandoned house because he suddenly can't go in anymore. And he's like, "Oh, someone must be living here." I'm repelled by this force field.
So at least
So
here, it says if police are at your door with a valid warrant to search your home, you must let them in. And they give you a copy of the warrant and the affidavit that goes with it. But I feel like that's a gray area because I can open the door to let you in and then I'm following the law and I'm allowed like is opening the door giving them permission or do you have to say like you can come in? Because I feel like if I
I,
just open the door to like look at
I
the
think,
search warrant, I feel like that's not saying come in.
yeah, I
And
don't
he's
know.
just telling me with the warrant he can come in, but I'm not going to tell him to come in.
I guess it depends on whether your version of vampires need verbal permission, like, "Hey, please come in," or if you can interpret like stepping back and out of the way as permission, right? Which is what it would probably more be like. Like, ugh, I mean, I guess like here you go.
Josh, just because you just asked. My good friend Gemini says Detective Vic Nocturne is a vampire cop with a thirst for justice, not blood. He's haunted by his past, bound by the ancient laws that forbid him from entering a home uninvited, even when pursuing a dangerous killer. When a string of gruesome murders rocks the city, Vic is assigned to the case. All evidence points to a recluse living in a gothic mansion on the outskirts of town. Vic's partner, a by the book human detective named Marcus, is skeptical of the no invitation rule, but Vic knows the consequences of breaking it, fate worse than death. Frustrated but determined, Vic obtains a search warrant, the only legal loophole that allows him to cross into the threshold. So I guess if AI's movie synopsis is true, I guess he's legally allowed to come in your house and his vampire blood doesn't matter? Question mark?
That's
Voice
what I
going
thought
up?
at first. I don't know.
Uh,
I just got hung up with the fact that that AI said a reclusive recluse.
it was pretty good.
I feel like you don't need both of those. I get the idea. Well, that's vampires for you, I guess. Toby, let's jump into emails and stop talking about vampires. We also have an email address, which is cast@commonwritersucks.com. You can send us in emails about anything that you want, be it Common Writer or vampires or anything in between. Once again, cast@commonwritersucks.com. Toby, our first email comes in from our new friend, Come and Ride Her, who has some wonderful business ideas for us in the past.
Before you finish this,
Are you talking about
apparently,
vampires again? Damn it.
yeah, there's, I guess the hot take is a non vampire officer has to go into the house to become a dweller of the home, and then they can invite their vampire partner in. And I think that's the actual correct answer to this riddle. So we were
Oh,
pretty
so
close.
the non-vampire cop goes in and then turns around and is like, "Come on, man!" Like that is enough. You think? But
That's
he doesn't own the home. It's not his domicile. I feel like it. If we're applying the vampire rules, I don't think that that counts.
this vampire cop thing seems to be a crazy hot discussion right now.
Good. I'm glad.
All right,
We'll check back in.
now you can read your wonderful email.
All right. So Kamen Rider. So first of all, I wanted to tell Kamen Rider that I did get your first email that you sent. Apparently we don't have the ability to send emails out currently from our email address, and I blame Toby for this entirely. But I attempted to respond to you to say, "Hey, we're all good, and I got you, and everything's fine." But I couldn't send that email, so I'm telling you that now. So that's uh that's what's up. But I will read your second email here, which is called Trick or Treat.
I just want to make it known that I, Toby, can also not read the email or send the email, whatever the hell Josh
Send
said.
the email. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why you thought you could when I told you that I couldn't. So I don't know why
You never
I don't know
know.
why you thought you'd walk in and be like, I'm gonna fix this and click the
It,
same button as
so I'm like
me.
a vampire cop, man. I'm inviting myself in, but I too
You
cannot send an email.
you're treating me like the people that you work with is what this is, and
Good.
I'm very offended by it. I feel like I should get the benefit of the doubt here that I know how to send an email. Anyway, this email comes in from Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider says, "It's Kamen Rider here with the email of the week. I hope you and Toby are doing well. The wellness check went great, and I now have some nice bouncy white walls. Thankfully, they still let me send you guys emails. So here we go."
I like this arc. This has been the greatest character arc since the Legend last season.
I think so. I think so. Starting off with the nicknames. Last week, you suggested shortening my name for emails. So how about you call me Car, Car, come and write her, all one word. Or Carl, come and write her legend. Oh, okay.
We'll
Uh,
say Carl from now on. We're
I like
we're
Carl.
gonna we're gonna roll this back just a little bit. We'll say Carl from now on. If we say Carl emailed us, you're on the inside now.
Yep, everyone's in. Just some fun acronyms I thought of in case you didn't want your significant others asking why you're talking about coming and Kamen Rider so much. Well, first of all, they know why. Um, that's nothing new. Nothing new, everybody. But Carl has some business ideas of the week. With Halloween approaching, I thought I'd share some spooky business ideas. As always, these are original thoughts from you guys. These are original thoughts from you guys. One, coffin rider. You and Toby could sell Kamen Rider themed coffins for those ready to hench into the afterlife. Additionally, you can offer urns designed as Kamen Rider helmets for those who prefer a unique keepsake. Business idea number two, Coven Ride Her. How about a pop up Halloween shop where you and Toby sell Kamen Rider inspired merchandise with a witchy theme? This can include costumes, accessories, and more. Or business idea number three, Common Collider. You and Toby could launch a dating app designed to pair Kamen Rider fans together. What's scarier than the first social interaction with someone you're romantically interested in? How would you guys pair people up on this app? Yeah, that is pretty scary. It's a good Halloween thing is like sending the first message on a dating app. That's very spooky.
If I made this app, I would secretly put coding in, or I'd have Josh do it for me because I don't know coding stuff, and I think Josh does. If one of the fields would be like, "Who's your favorite common writer?" or "Who's your favorite series?" and if you put Kuga down, you'd secretly be like shadow banned, where you'd still be on this site, but no one would ever see your profile.
We just I was I was thinking of what the funniest like alternate dating app to direct you to if you said Cougar would be. Like if it deletes our app, but then it downloads like um Grinder or JDate or something different instead. Just like you should be over here. You're not cut out for our little world. I'm sorry. Farmers only. That's the funny answer. It downloads farmers only for you. I think instead of just being Common Rider fans specifically, we just have like a super like a weeb dating app. So like if you're just interested in anything like Japanese related, like anime or tokusatsu or anything, you can sign up, and then
That's
we pair you up based on your interest. So like
I
if
think
you
that's a
both
real
like
thing
Kamen
already.
Rider,
Just for
is
the
it really?
record,
It probably is. Yeah. If there is farmersonly.com, then there would also be weebdate.com too or whatever.
I think. All right, so it wasn't the name of the site I thought it was, but I know there's very weird things like that. Apparently, it's called but MAI Otaku, myotaku.com, the best anime dating website 15 years running.
There you go.
So that's a good one. If we're to make our own, and it's more geared towards like the whole university type of thing, I just thought of
That's
tokusatsu.com.
that's good. I just found one that's real. That's called Otacutie, like otaku but cutie. Otacutie. That's very good. I like that name a lot. Their their bullet points, Toby, are make otaku and weeb friends have the best convos. So there you go. It's a 4.7 out of 5 on the App Store. That's very
Josh,
highly rated.
when uh, dear friend Carl, please go onto YouTube right now and look at the thumbnail that Josh is going to put for the video picture of this thing of the coffin salesman with the sign that says "Attention to the afterlife." I made this for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna put any of that anywhere, but imagine it.
No, I sent you the picture. I
I
literally
know,
just
but
want you
then
to use the picture.
it seems hard. I might do it. We'll see if I remember.
Rude.
uh, yeah, there you go. We'll hench into the afterlife. Moving on from there, Carl continues on with question number 1 for us. First, what do you think would happen if Shoma ate an expired candy? Would it produce a Gochizo that's corrupted and only offer half power? Or would it make him weaker and mess with the Gavv belt? Yeah, I think we have a whole unexplored world so far where like he eats things that make him sick. What happens? Like he eats too much candy, he eats expired candy, he eats candy he's allergic to. Like there's lots of things you could do where like the thing that comes out is bad.
I feel like tied to the logic of other food does nothing for him that way,
Oh, produces nothing.
and the
Yeah,
candy, like his favorite happy candies, make the good cheeses come out. I feel like if the candy was bad or expired or anything along those lines, I just don't think anything would happen. Like presumably he doesn't have a human stomach if he can eat things and then like
that's
he
true.
shits out good cheeses. So I think he's safe. I think there's no like downfall in that manner.
I think from a story perspective, that I think that makes the most sense from what we've seen so far. But I really want it to be like I eat an expired candy and like a zombie Gochizo pops out and it tries to eat the other Gochizo or something. Like something like completely reversed happens.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be even better.
Also in this week's episode, I noticed several candies come with do not eat packets. Do you think Shoma has ever accidentally eaten a silica gel packet thinking it was candy? If so, what kind of Gochizo would it create? I think Toby's right here. I think it probably wouldn't create a Gochizo, unfortunately, because it isn't a treat. He's like a trash compactor, Toby. He can just eat anything and it destroys it unless it's candy. And then a Gochizo pops out.
Yeah, it's basically like me without the magic.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just eat anything and then stuff just pops out. Just no magic.
Carl goes on. Question time 2, question harder. If you were a Gochizo, setting aside the short lifespan to serve Shoma, what would your catchphrase be when Shoma puts you in his belt? Mine would probably be something like ride me," or something equally fitting.
I
I
wouldn't
feel I
be a
feel like they're all like in that vein, right? Like they're all in the realm of like put me in and kill me, ride me, put me. It's like that.
I'd at least want to be spicy. So I feel like I'd yell spicy. And also
Spicy.
or flame on or something along those lines. We're gonna steal it from Marvel. I do think
Uh
that if I was a good Chizo though, since they are their own little beings, and since your finality is when Shoma decides to eat you, like when he sends you on patrol, just run away, and you could live a whole good Chizo life to your
yeah,
fullest.
it really does beg the question why they don't run away. They're so willing to die here. It's yeah.
I guess it's like having a baby, like they're his kids, kind of. Like
Yeah. I'm sure there's
I
some
brought you into this world. I can take you out. Like my dad used to always tell me.
I'm sure there is some Rule 34 art that explains exactly that for us online. Carl says goodbye for now. Apologize for the long email. I'll be out of town for the next month. So sadly, our ride together has to go on a refractory period for now. Thanks so much for all you do. I hope you keep enjoying Commenter Gav, and of course, have a happy Halloween. Here for a good time, not a long time. Sincerely, Carl.
Have a safe trip, buddy.
Indeed. So we have one more email this week. Comes in from Shade. Shade says, "Happy Spooky Day for all who celebrate. Those who don't, we still have a Common Rider Gav episode for today. Before that, I have some cool Common Rider related facts and info to share. First off, just a heads up for Tommy and Josh, Gav and Boom Boominger will be on break next week. Another sport event will take the two shows' time slots. It's a marathon this time.
I will never
Ultra,
believe anyone telling me this ever again.
yeah, me neither. And we talked about this a bit in the Discord. No matter how much I have this information and I believe it, I'm never relaying it on to Toby anymore. He's lost that privilege, and he gets to.
I don't even believe other people now. That's what you've
That's what I've
done.
done to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So potentially we won't have a regular show this week or the next week rather. If all of this marathon nonsense is to be believed. Shade says next up is something a bit Yakuza related. Toby might have heard of this. The new live action Yakuza series just came out, and the lead actor is actually a person with Kamen Rider backgrounds.
They
In
all
the
have it. I
Oh,
went through
that's
a
cool.
wild ride this year, or not this year, this week, of never knowing how Kamen Rider's tied to everything, but, like, everyone being like, "Oh, no, Kamen Rider's and everything. It's a huge mainstay in Japan. There's references every place that you probably never even got." And then this past week or 2, I've been playing WarioWare on the Game Boy Advance,
Uh huh.
and there's, like, 4 separate different tokusatsu referenced mini games. 3 specifically being like Kamen Rider, where you're riding a little motorcycle as a grasshopper guy.
That's super fun. Yeah, I love that. I love anything where you get enough knowledge that then you can recognize references to that thing in other media. Like that's fun no matter what.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. Like
well,
honestly, for sure. I think
yeah.
it's hilarious to me.
Like I had that. Like I recently watched the first Alien film, and like there are things in that movie that like permeate through the rest of culture too. Where you're like, oh, this is the source of that thing, or like this is the source of like sitting in a room that looks like this, and this is the source of that noise and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, that's cool in this case too, for sure. Like, oh yeah, you're referencing this thing I now know about.
And that's why
um,
references are fun.
Shade says Kiryu in the show is played by Ryoma Takeuchi, who previously played Kamen Rider Drive. I just want to mention this because I feel so proud of my boy, you know? I knew him from a decade ago when he was just a young actor. Now that he's made it this far, I can't help but to be happy for him. I mean, just look at him singing Baka Mitai, and then he links a video. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. An actual Kamen Rider being kind of the star of the show. And
And to
you haven't
your
watched any of that show yet, right? You're saving it up for when it all's out.
yeah, that was gonna be my only mini addition to this was yes, I was alerted that it is out now. Not all the episodes are out yet, and I think I just want to binge it when I watch it. So I'm gonna wait until the second half of all the episodes drop before I start.
That makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Um, Shade goes on to tell us that in Gavv related news, Gavv's Gochizo toys are currently suffering from scalpers and resellers. It's currently a big enough problem for people to compare it to a similar incident related to O's metal toys from many years ago.
We've
Uh,
joked about those medals and if it was popular and all that kind of shit, and that makes sense. I guess like I feel like coins specifically, like coin collecting is its own like crazy niche world, and then you have like the common rider aspect of it too. So I could see that being a crazy issue back then.
yeah, it says so I'm looking at some tweets now um, where people are talking about like a store owner like holding a bunch back to be sold on the black market. That's why there's so little stock. Resale values are huge. As soon as the store opens, people are making like full dashes in to buy the Gochizo. And then apparently it's seeming like it is the most popular Kamen Rider related collectible in the past like decade. That's crazy
So
because that's weird because the Gochizo like they are sold in like those pseudo blind boxes, but like the differences between like the special ones are also like minimal, right? Like I don't know. It's weird that they're popping off that hard.
I guess so to go all the way back towards the first episode conversation, I think we both thought they were goofy. And then after the first episode, both made the joke, but ha ha ha, I would probably put one on my desk if I had one. Like they're
Yes.
cute and interesting enough where it kind of be a fun collectible just to have like to screw around with. So I feel like they touch a different subset of people where rather than having like some giant driver or buckle or something in your house or like a giant hopper as an example, or the cards, like you can just have a little Chiza, you can put it anywhere, you can just hang out with you on your desk, throw it in the car, take it to school. Like I feel like it lends itself well to a more open purchasing power group, something or another.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll buy that. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Yeah, and they're probably also, they're small and cheap enough too. You can like, you know, get a bunch and keep trying to hit the special one and stuff. Yeah, it probably fits in that same realm as like, hey, it's easy just to like grab a pack of your favorite trading cards as you're checking out somewhere and stuff like that too. It probably hits that same itch in the same way. But yeah, I get that people think they're cute and would want one just sitting around, even if they're not like wearing their Henshin belt all the time or their Gavv all the time. Shade links us also to a tweet, which I find very interesting here, from the monster designer for Gavv. And they're talking about the monster designs in the show. And basically, he says that the monster design is based on themes of decay and gluttony. So I tried to incorporate fly-like elements somewhere in each of the monster costumes, each of the Grenade costumes. But when it moves, it's hard to tell, and sometimes even the designers don't know where to put it. Um, so then there are some still images that Shade has sent that point out they're kind of hard to see, but you can see them, like little tiny flies, sort of embedded in the costume, or on the shoulder of the costume, or in the chest. So that's something for us to keep an eye out for in future Granute monsters. Try to spot the fly.
What a game.
That's certainly fun. And then Shade says, for our last find today, I found a translated interview between Shoma and Honto's actors. Um, what's kind of nutty is let's see. I don't know the actor names here. So Hino says, I'm glad I was able to talk to Hide that day, as I thought there's no girl as pure and as nice as him. If he was my girlfriend, I'd have absolute confidence in him. Laughs. And then Chinen says, haha, I'm grateful that he always looks out for the people around him. And even when I run off on my own, he helps me out with a precise follow up. He's prepared for anything and he can act quickly when the time comes. But that's not a simple thing to do, as I don't think you can do that unless you have composure to do so. If I were the opposite sex, I'd fall for him. Laughs. Also, we like a lot of the same things. So they're having a little bromance, I guess,
Oh
is what
yeah,
I'm learning.
they're developed. It's developed nicely after all
Yeah.
these months.
That's good. I want to know that my two main writers could potentially fuck at any moment. That's really
There's a lot of tension on the set.
exactly. That's what I want. I want the tension. Yeah. Shade, thanks very much for the email. And Carl, thanks as well. If anyone would like to send emails, once again, cast at commonwritersucks.com. And of course, check out the Patreon again, patreon.com/slash the comment writers. We'd love to have you in the Discord, and we'd love for you to check out all of our bonus content. Toby, where can the people find you on the internet?
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes, and on YouTube's it's Tobes Plays.
For me, youtube.com/slash prettydeece for the comment writer YouTube channel. And also check me out on Twitter at prettydeecejosh. So that is going to wrap us up for this week. Once again, we do hope that you return next week so we can talk about episode 10 together. But in the meantime, have a great week, everybody. Peace.
Josh, real quick, I just want to say one last time that I am Toby of the Kamen Riders, and you are Josh the Kamen Riders. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight.